Well, that night I was waitressing. I had finished an 8-hour shift, and myself and a few coworkers went to JoJo's, which was a 24-hour restaurant, and just to get a little bite to eat and wind down from the very busy shift. And so I had something to eat, and I decided I was tired and I was ready to go. So I actually left before my other coworkers left. So I walked out of the restaurant, got into my car. As I was pulling away, two men walked in front of my car that I had to actually stop. And they were both glaring at me through the windshield. And I was like, what's wrong with these people? And I thought it was odd. They actually got in front of my car that I actually did have to stop. And so, and then they passed. Okay. And then I continued driving. Right. And I only lived a couple miles from there. And so I'm driving home, and I never saw any cars behind me, and there was no headlights, nothing. And I pulled into the complex where I lived. It was a large apartment complex. There was a lot of parking spaces. Pulled into my space. Never saw a car pull in behind me. And as I gathered my things to get out of my car, I closed my car door, and the next thing, there was a man behind me saying, "Excuse me, can you help me find someone?" And the next thing, he had me in a chokehold with his other hand over my mouth, dragging me backwards. And then I saw this vehicle, and I saw a man that was in the passenger seat climb over into the driver's seat, and then he opened the passenger door, folded the seat forward, and at that point, Michael Bohrer, which, I didn't know who he was at that time, at that point, that's when he no longer had his hand over my mouth, because, I was fighting to breathe and fighting, just to be able to breathe. And finally, he stopped that, and then I was able to scream. And as I was screaming and fighting, being pushed into and forced into this car.
Pushed and pulled from the inside, too.
And John was inside. His brother was pulling at my legs. My legs were in that car. And Michael was still forcing me. And I had, seriously, it was just my fingertips on the top of that car. That was the only thing that was the last grip that I had. And as all of a sudden, John let go of my legs, and he told Michael, "Let go of her, get in the car, we got to get out of here." And I don't know what it was. I'm assuming that it probably was maybe a light, maybe someone turned on a light. Someone must have heard my scream. And at that point, I was able to break away and get away from them. But the thing that just is so frightful for me is that had this been like a van or a larger vehicle, there's just no way. Because I can't imagine that after they were done with whatever their plan was that night, that I would have been brought back home. I don't think I would.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Okay?
And it wasn't money, because my purse was right next to the car. All he had to do was just pick it up. It was right there. And I was just the unfortunate target that night. Yeah. And I truly, truly do not think that I am the only one.
Okay.
I think in my heart, I feel I am the only one that survived.
You think because of the way they carried it out?
Because of the way they went about it. Yeah. They never spoke. Next thing I'm seeing this guy inside a vehicle, slide over to the other side and open that door. Like they knew exactly
Wow.
what they were going to do.
Yeah.
They knew exactly.
And Michael, who had you in the
And-
chokehold, was punching you too.
He
right?
was
Yeah.
punching me. My skirt was ripped all the way up to the waistband. It was, like an A-line. That was my uniform, my waitress uniform. It was just an A-line skirt that had like a small little like kick pleat in the front. I mean, that's the struggle. I mean,
Yeah.
I just could grab on, pushed off whatever I could.
Yeah.
I feel that I need to speak for maybe those who can't, because I do not think I'm the only one. If someone can do that once, why would someone think that they couldn't do it multiple times? I don't feel that I was the first. Don't feel that I was the last. And I mean, I think he is a danger. I think he's still a danger at 59.
And he's done